Welcome everybody, my name is Christian, and with my brother Nicholas, we are going to do our review of the 2016 Doom. And wow, what an amazing game. I really loved it.
I would agree so too.
It's definitely one of the funnest video games I've played in quite a long time. Bethesda really knocked it out of the park. They took something that was really old, and bringing it back could have easily had been a Duke Nukem Forever, and instead they turned it into an amazing, polished video game. It really is stellar, and it embraces its past and its lore. All these game mechanics that are long past been replaced that were mostly technical limitations. Like back before GoldenEye, there was no reloading in games. You would just fire until the clip is empty until GoldenEye. That was the very first game, at least I'm aware of, that had reloading. This game, no reloading. Recovering shields and health, not in this game. It is a number, exactly like how it was in the 90s. Pick stuff up, you're constantly running and gunning. There's no sprinting, there's no aim down sights, except for one rifle and one mode. But for the most part, it is just a 1990s game, polished and put in a beautiful graphics engine. It really is a stellar game.
Yeah, the graphics just complements the core spectacularly. Even though that this gameplay is quite nostalgic for me since I played the original Doom games, it still felt fresh, especially with the new addition of the glory kills, which were such a great addition.
Yeah, it really adds a little bit of interesting decision making, because once you stun an enemy beyond a certain point, you can get in close and do a really nasty, brutal melee kill, and you get extra health and possibly extra armor and ammo depending on your runes. The graphics are phenomenal. It's polished. I never had a crash. I never had a glitch. I never had a frame rate drop. It is just a polished first player game. It's embarrassing how few games there are like that. Now, maybe there were some issues originally, like I'm playing it a month or so after it came out, so maybe there were some patches that cleaned things up, but I had no performance issues on the Xbox One. It really is just a phenomenal game. The game mechanics are great. The level design is great. The weapons are great. Something that they did introduce that they didn't have originally is there is a leveling up mechanic of your weapons. You unlock different abilities. You upgrade your armor, and it allows you a certain flexibility. There's a mix of things that you just purchase with points that you unlock from doing challenges or finding secrets on the map, or by doing specific tasks that have a counter, and then you unlock that ability.
You know, that is another thing I do like about this game, is that it rewards you for finding collectibles, finding upgrades, and doing challenges.
Yeah, definitely. Those runes are really useful. You definitely, even though some of the most frustrating moments I had with this game were some of the really particularly difficult rune tests, but it is worth it. This game is tough, but it was fair and it was fun, and it just...
You were not this composed during a rune trial.
Oh my gosh, no. There's been plenty of cursing in this house during some of the rune trials, but all is forgiven once you get the rune, and then you love the game again. But the main levels, sometimes there'll be a boss battle that I'll have to play many times, but usually you work your way through it. It's not nearly as punishing as like Dark Souls or Bloodborne. This really is a stellar game. Go out and get it. If you like horror, if you like first-person shooters, if you like first-person shooters in the 90s and you don't like them now, if you like them now and you never played them in the 90s, everyone who enjoys playing a video game where you pick up a gun and you shoot stuff should be playing this game. One of the best shooters that have come out in years.
Unless if you're nauseous to gore.
But even if you are that, you can tell yourself you're fighting demons. You're not killing humans. You're not doing anything remotely that's bad. This is what a nun would do if she was in hell. She would fight some. But man,
when you think about it, Doom is practically the ultimate video game for Christian conservatives. I mean, you're a veteran who is exercising his Second Amendment rights to own death machines, fighting the forces of hell while being magically empowered by heaven itself.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. If you need to convince your parents to let you play a mature game, tell them you're doing God's work in this game.
You are literally fighting the forces of hell.
That's the single player. There's 2 other modes to this game. There's multiplayer and then there's snap maps. The snap maps are user created maps that anyone can create. It's a deep tool that I'm sure you could make really amazing stuff. I don't have the time nor the creativity to too deep into it, but I played a few maps and they were interesting. It's a rated M Mario Maker, essentially what it is. And there's a lot of potential there and a lot of extra shelf life if you choose to keep this game. The multiplayer was fine. It's not what this game's strong suit is. It's not terrible, but it's nothing special. Playing it really did feel like a Halo 2, Halo 3 level of multiplayer. And that's perfectly fine, but there are definitely way more polished multiplayer games that are just way more enjoyable. So I wouldn't call the multiplayer tacked on. I would just say it's not necessary, and it's not the selling point of this game. No one's going to come up and you say, you got to play the Doom multiplayer. I suspect that a huge percentage of the people that buy and play this game have probably never even opened the multiplayer. I played a handful of games. I wasn't sold on it, but it wasn't beyond terrible. It was just it was mediocre. Which, in comparison to the single player, which is polished and amazing and stellar, there's no really any reason to play the multiplayer.
Even though there is not that many characters and the plot isn't the main focus, I thought that the story mode was still pretty good.
Yeah, the campaign was interesting. There was less than 24 different types of enemies, but that was enough. There were different ones and they each had their own characteristics. They weren't completely dumb and mindless. They had their own strategy. They would team up against you.
Yeah, I do like how when compared to the old 90s games, your enemies in the new game are much more difficult and actually have strategy in their attacks, especially with the imps.
Yeah, they really run around.
They are very agile and very quick. It's pretty hard to get an aim on them.
And they actually throw their fireballs, so they actually are probably one of the few enemies that have an arc. So they can actually hit you, even though you won't be able to hit them.
Yeah, that really bothered you in one of the rune trials.
Yeah, one of the rune trials, you can only move for 3 seconds after you make a kill, and then you're stuck in place. So I killed someone, I moved, and I was over like a ramp, and below my line of sight was an imp just chucking fireballs at me one at a time until I died. This game can be punishing at times, but I died, I respawned, and then I taught that imp who's boss.
Yeah, because this is a game where you want to complete 100%. You want to collect all of the secrets. You want to collect all of the runes because it rewards you so well. Every time you do a challenge, you find a Doom guy, you get weapons points that you can use to upgrade your already massive arsenal.
So that's the end of our review. Go out and get this game. It's stellar. It's amazing. 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5, whatever you want to call it. This is one of the best video game experiences I've had in years. Go out and get this game. It's amazing. Bye, everybody.